Afternoon, Foxes. We're at the site of our 35 Field Talks, and what we're going to do today is walk through some of the details of what is in the tent and what the tent replicates. So this tent right here best replicates a sit-up, which is in this case 6 feet by 8 feet, and there's usually one of these for every vehicle assigned to an assault command post. That's what this tent really belongs with, is an assault command post. In your typical ACP, there's about 1 to 4 vehicles. So there's 1 to 4 of these tents. And that means there's somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 to 12 personnel, depending on your echelon and formation type, that would fit into a tent like this. So again, this best represents an ACP and what a 35 Fox would have to operate in when in an assault command post. Inside the tent, it spaciously accommodates approximately 4 people, 3 digital analysts or personnel, and 1 analog. Usually there's a mix of fires, operations, and intel within a single tent. All of the other gear that isn't here before you for battle tracking communications is in the vehicles themselves. So about the only thing missing from this space are things like radios, maybe some water, maybe an MRE or 2, but there's not much else you can stack into something that's a 6 foot by 8 foot space and then do operations. Okay, the first slot we're going to highlight you would think is just storage, but if you remember, this is the spot where the tree tried to pancake the tent. And what's good about what you see right here is at the bottom, let's pretend that's an uninterrupted power supply going out to a generator, so batteries and some other cables. And then this can be an icebreaker, a Thor kit, a snowball, a TAC server, any one of those portable servers that's going to turn into your AI Uber server to help everyone in the assault command post do great things. That's usually about the size that they are in real life. So that's not ostentatious, it's not crazy, the weight's not going to be terrible. You can argue that this would be vehicle mounted, but if you would have to take up space in an assault command post sit-up, you can see it's not overbearing, but again, if the tree came down and pancaked right into there, like it did when we were in the other site, emotions would flare up. How many of those are you carrying with you? But this is really good for identifying how much size something like that is going to take up in your space. Now, normally, a lot of people in an assault command post would argue we're not going to bring some server kit like that. We would just have an Uber laptop that all other laptops would plug into. In this case, that might be sufficient because again, there's only about 3 people digitally working and then 1 person doing analog backups, communication, RTO type stuff. Right next door is a vintage Korean War field desk. These got phased out somewhere by the end of Vietnam, so I never saw one in active duty service, but I heard people talk about them in terms of a clerk's desk. And of course, there's a space to write. Up top is where all your stationery goes. In the ammo can looking thing is actually where also more stationery goes. And the giant cubby hole that we have mill standard symbology put into, pre-cut, arts and crafts time, that was actually for a typewriter. And then, of course, the 2 bottom elements for things like typewriter ribbons and things of this nature. But here we have it right next to the battle board and the map system because this is where all of our map kit can go right next to the map. As anybody figures out what's going on, writes it down, types it up as a computer. Computer can sit right on the collapsible board. And then that's really easy to transfer left seat, right seat between the 2 operators. Digital, all the utensils, all of the things, the analog tracker, writes it on up, prints some things out, etc. A key feature in any tent is, of course, the battle board. In this case, the backdrop trifold came from Displays to Go. It enables you to do Velcro, tape, and push pin to hold any of your display elements up. You can also do a corrugated plastic version, which is a lot lighter, comes in tan mostly, but even this one right here, when you fold it up, put it in the bag and have everything removed from it, it's only about 8 pounds, so it's not terrible, looks good, gives you flexibility of mounting things. This particular setup on the battle board is probably the most rudimentary, we're going to go through an entire episode about setting up battle boards, what goes on a battle board, and how to make your battle board oh so Gucci. In this case, this is the unit that was told, hey, tomorrow we're going to the field. We didn't really prep. Grab your office supplies, print out a map, hit print on anything we got. We'll slap it together when the tent goes up and then figure it out. There's a lot of challenges when you're trying to just run a map with just using those giant clips and then putting acetate upon acetate over that. The maps will roll up at the very bottom. We're going to, again, do an entire episode of, hey, here is a more field appropriate way to set up your battle board, and in a mannerism that's not so rudimentary, that gives you all of the facets and you can quickly take it apart, move, and reset up. This is, of course, the much renowned field desk. It's a 1980s version, so it's all made out of wood. You can go to an NSN in the GSA catalog and pick up a modern plastic Pelican version in tan or green, anything you want. If you have one of these field desks hanging around, normally everyone associates it with just the square desk and drawer portion, because a lot of the foldable desks and chairs are always lost off the back of an LMTV somewhere. But this is a beautiful field desk with a soft backdrop of a whiteboard, which needs no further explanation. And there we have it. That is everything major within this assault command post variant of a tent we have set up. Now, of course, before anybody leaves, you know that the Velcro for boot hookups will always take your patch. So please be careful on the way out. This has already claimed multiple patches for multiple shoulders of people trying to enter and exit. Guard your sleeves. Make sure you have all your items with you. And until we meet again, we look forward to seeing you back here under blue skies and hopefully trees that don't kill you.